Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for BroadwayWorld. Five-time Tony Award-winner Audra McDonald has returned to Broadway as the legendary Billie Holiday in Lainey Robertson's play Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill, directed by Lonny Price. And I caught up with Audra and company on opening night. Congratulations, it's opening night. How do you feel tonight?
Exhausted, relieved, glad it's over, glad we're here, and ready for a day off. But I'm really happy that given this came together so quickly, we were able to make it, you know?
Sometimes those are the best things, like there's a theater, let's just go and go for it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And, like I said, we've been working on this for a while, for a year and a half, so for us it was just about wondering when and where it was going to happen. So it exploded on us so quickly, but it didn't give us any time to sort of second guess ourselves. We just had to go, you know?
What has it been like embodying her? Because you don't impersonate her, you become her. That was the most amazing thing of watching you last night.
Just Billie Holiday, the people I've spoken to that knew her, this one lady in particular, Yolande Bevan, who says that Billie used to say to her all the time, tell the truth, always tell the truth, be the truth. And so for me, it's just staying open to what her story was and defending her. I kind of feel like I'm up there being her public defender or something, Billie Holiday said in an interview right towards the end of her life in April of 1959, she said, I don't have an understudy. Every time I get up on stage, I'm having to fight against everything that's ever been written about me, and I've got to fight to get the audience to listen to me with their own ears and make up their own mind about me. And so I think that's the headspace I just try and stay in when I go out there.
And tell me what you love about Lainey's play and having him in the room when you were working on this.
I think, it's interesting. I think Lainey has just captured her voice quite beautifully. I think he really understood who this woman was, and it feels so authentic to me. He's borrowed a lot of the words that she's actually said, and I think the way he structured it as she slowly breaks down throughout the evening, I think is quite brilliant, and it's not easy to do, but it's the trajectory makes a lot of sense to me, as an actress, and right when you think she might not make it, he gives you a funny story to tell, and she keeps trying to raise herself back up, and then at the end she just can't possibly do it, which happens a lot with addicts, they keep trying to crawl out and just get brought back down,
You sound just like her, and you seem so free up there, having the audience there. Is it easy for you, or is it a challenge?
It can be a challenge because the audience is, obviously they're different every night, and you've got such a cross-section of people coming to see the show. So we've got some people, not quite sure what's going on, some people very uncomfortable with the fact that she's a little bit out of control, so they're not wanting to get eye contact made with them, and then there's other people who you can't shut up. Some people who, want to tell me all about the pig's feet they've eaten, and one guy screamed out at me the other day, are you sure you're not my wife? Or something like that as I was pouring a drink. So, you get everything, so it keeps you on your toes. I can't be thinking about what I'm going to have for dinner when I'm doing this show. I'm forced to be in the moment.
And working with Lonny.
A joy. I just love him. I love him, and he's the easiest person in the world to work with and for. So that's why I keep doing it. That's why I've been doing it for the past 14 years, and I'll keep doing it.
My final question is, what are you enjoying the most about playing her on Broadway?
There's a lot. I love that there's a lot of young people that come and they've not heard these stories about her. A lot of them just have heard some of her music, and especially a lot of the context of things that were happening to African Americans at that time. And I like sort of the historical lesson that some of them are getting, which is great.
It was one of the great openings where the performance was great, and sometimes that doesn't happen. But the audience was terrific, and she's just right in the pocket. She's just flawless now.
Take me back to the beginning. What has it been like working on this show with your dear friend Audra McDonald?
We get in the room. We did 2 3-week workshops where we just worked on the material. We worked on Tim Weil, our great arranger and orchestrator, and we found the songs and how Audra would perform them and how to get from the play into the songs. And so we did a lot of table work. We didn't get up on our feet till the third week of the second workshop. So it was just really her studying Billie, listening to her interviews, and was watching YouTubes and really trying to find the essence of Billie. And I have to say that's all Audra,
Because there's a lot of stuff out there on her visually,
Yes.
isn't there?
Well, YouTube is a wonderful thing, and we didn't have this 10 years ago, where you could see interviews of hers, and, as I was saying before, not only the cuts in the albums, but the outtakes, and her arguing with a pianist, and, you get a personality from her that was unavailable to us years ago. So it's a wonderful thing. The research was very, very helpful.
What's great about her performance, she embodies, she becomes Billie Holiday. It's not an impersonation. How did you walk that fine line?
That's Audra. I mean, we talk about specifics, about the voice and about the movement, but she studies it, and Audra somehow is able to take in and then synthesize through herself and put it back out there, and it's unique and singular to her. So no one will ever play Billie Holiday like Audra. I mean, it's her own version of it.
And what do you love about the play itself?
I think the play is beautiful, and it's moving, and it's about, the African American experience in the first half of the last century. It's not just about Billie Holiday. It's how we treated African Americans, even though they were stars. It's also about what we do to actors who have dependency problems, and how we celebrate them, we put them on a pedestal, but while they're crashing, we don't help them very much. And then Billie was playing to 20 people in Philadelphia 2 months before she died. And then when she died, 20,000 people show up at a funeral. Where are they when she needs them? You look at Whitney Houston, why aren't we helping these people? We celebrate them and martyr them, but we don't ever show up and say, how do we make them okay? And Billie was sort of the first of that, watching this extraordinary artist crash and burn and bearing witness but not helping. So I think the play is about all of those people and our lack of humanity in the way that we treat them. So.
I love your direction on this. It's so delicate. I love the visual and the whole aspect of the club and the scrim and everything else. Was that something you had in your mind from the very beginning?
Yeah. To me, it's a little bit as Billie's bringing ghosts with her. And so they're very gentle of images of these people that have affected her life. And as far as I'm concerned, some people see them and some people don't, and that's fine. It's there if you want to see it, and if not, if you're just focused on Audra, then that's great too. But I think it's nice to have an image of her mom and Lester Young and these people that profoundly influenced her life.
Audiences love this. They are mesmerized from the very second they come in and listen to the band. What is it like for you sitting watching the audience react to this?
Oh, it's interesting because it's different every night. They and particularly, we have 20 tables down there, and as I was saying, we always say, oh, the audience is another character in the play and all that, and it's always true, but it's never so much more true than it is now, because Audra's those are her partners, and how they react and how they help her and how they treat her in the evening is. She rolls with that. So it's a very alive experience, more so than other plays that I've directed, because the audience is so much a part of it.
I think that McDonald's performance is up there with the greats, the really greats. And she continues to amaze and surprise with each performance, because each one is different. Each time you see it, it's like the same character, but in different moods or different moves or different glances or different song intonations, or it's just always fresh. And it's not, I guess I've seen every performance in the previews, except one. I couldn't get out of bed. Because it wipes me out with joy and with it just wipes me out. So I go through the emotion of the play, and the beauty of the play is like awesome. It's awesome. So I'm awed, and I missed one matinee. I just could not make it to the theater. I wasn't drunk, but I just couldn't make it. And she's made it every time, and every time that I've seen it, it's different. So it's unlike working with any other actor in that she has such a enormously varied range and the colors to the palette, to use a hackneyed phrase, are so amazing. She brings such delicacy to things, and so I'm as stunned as anybody, as if I'd never had anything to do with the play.
My final question for you is, Billie Holiday has touched people generation after generation. Why do you think that is, and why she touched you?
Well, as I've said, Billie Holiday is, I think, an iconic figure, iconic theater. Iconic figures in history interest me. About half my plays are based on historical people, but not because they're historical people, but because I think they stand today for the same conditions to an extent that go on today. I said to Audra, well, Billie complained at one point that she couldn't get a taxi to stop for her, and Audra said, same thing for me. Taxi drivers see a black woman and they don't stop. So it's a state of I think the human psyche that one has to recognize and deal with it in our own time. And we ignore it at a great cost. We lost Billie Holiday at the age of 44 years old, over and out. And yet her recordings will live forever. And we hear them all over New York, all over Kansas City, all over Dallas. When you go in some place and there's Billie Holiday singing in the background. So it makes us all poor if we don't recognize the value of the living artist and take care of the living artist, whatever he or she, whatever form, trying to do. And for me, to have written a play 28 years ago and have it fine, I hope that's encouraging to all playwrights who are sitting alone somewhere batting something out saying, I hope I can get a reading of this. When I first wrote the play, every theater in town turned it down. Every theater I went to, black, white, everything in between. And they said, oh, no one can ever play Billie Holiday. Can't do the play. So it was done in Atlanta at the Alliance first, and it got good reviews, and here we are tonight. So.